All right, everybody. You know what time it is. The Real Talk Sports Show is coming up right now. Bam, 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 and bam. Welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show. It's me, your host, Mr. Jonathan Simmons, and we thank God for all those of you who are watching us here on various platforms, Facebook Live, YouTube Live. Also, we are broadcasting on Roku via Tiki Live. You go on the Tiki Live channel and look for Phoenix Entertainment Group, and bam, we're broadcasting to you right here and right now. And of course, you also now find us on Twitch as well. So appreciate all those of you who tune in to join us on this broadcast this fine evening if you're watching live. Well, there's been a lot of sports stuff going on this weekend. The little, I don't want to say a big shocker, but we'll talk about it in the college football segment. A little bit of a shakeup at the top of the college football polls. Also, the Hawks, after losing their first two games, come roaring back in fine fashion, winning the last two games against top quality opponents and basically playing the type of basketball that could lead them deep into the playoffs if they could play that way consistently. And of course, we'll give you a little update from high school football. We got some award winners and all kinds of good stuff here on the Real Talk Sports Show. And last but not least, at the end of the broadcast, you know how we do it. We'll talk Falcons. The big question is going to be: is Arthur dismissed? He got a big decision. Stay with Ritter, or is it Heinicke time? We'll talk about all that and more. But first of all, we have to bring on one of the most beautiful women in sports talk radio or TV. She is evidently en route. The lovely Queen Tree Dolman is back in the building. Queen, what's going on?
Hi.
She's
Hi.
all masked up. She you know what she's doing, guys? She's practicing. She's practicing to be a real queen in the Middle East. You know, she has the hair covered, the mask on. That's how they do in the Middle East. So she's practicing. So next time I talk to her, she might be a real queen for real. What's going on, Tree? Again, appreciate you doing this while you're traveling. Thank you again so much for jumping in there. And of course, if you get ready to leave, let us know. We'll jump immediately to talk about some team out of Michigan. I can't think about it. And I think it's the Detroit. And also we got to talk about some college team in Michigan as well. Both, a little controversy, but also some big stuff going on as the first college football playoff poll has been announced. And yeah, so we got some good stuff going on. Good stuff going on. It's been, like I said, it's been a very exciting weekend. All kinds of things are happening, and we are just excited that, like I said, we have an opportunity to, talk some sports here after a big weekend of sports. All kinds of things going on, of course, here in the Atlanta area. Your Atlanta Hawks have now even their record to 2-2. I was a little feeling some kind of way. Jumped out of the box poorly, lost to Charlotte, Charlotte's always been kind of like their kryptonite, so to speak. And then to me, a bad loss on opening night at home. So I was thinking, man, not again. But they rebounded nicely. Two big wins, one over Milwaukee. And then last night, how about that win last night, Tree, at home, down by 17 in the third quarter, and came roaring back to win by 17. How about that?
That's nice.
Yeah,
As
I
you know,
just
I wasn't watching last night. I was watching my Detroit Lions.
of course. You watch your Lions take care of business as any Detroit fan would. But yeah, the Hawks look very, very good at home. And you know, they look like a playoff team. And shouts out to DeJounte Murray that tied his all-time high, 41 points for DeJounte last night. And he did something kind of interesting. Towards the end of the game, coach was trying to get people out, because the Hawks, clearly had a big lead. And DeJounte, showing he got the dog in him, he waved the coach off. Nope, I'm not coming out. I'm not coming out. He wanted to play, and he stayed in for the rest of the game. So, yeah, just big shout out to him. Big shout out to Jalen Johnson, a guy who's seeming to really begin to hit his stride, playing kind of to some degree, and you're ahead of your boy if he was still there, our good friend, Mr. John Collins, but that's okay. John is balling out in Utah doing his thing. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Okay, let's go to social media, take a peek here. Oh, Todd's worried.
What'd he say?
He said somebody has kidnapped Tree. Todd, good news.
Todd?
That is a mask to protect herself from the people that she's around. She's not under duress. You see, she's laughing, smiling. She's not being held hostage. Praise the Lord. Let's not put that out there. Next time people be calling me, hey, man.
I'm in the airport. I'm traveling.
See, she's traveling. She's not being held hostage. Okay. Just let's get. Oh, always starting some trouble. I'm just saying. Yeah, no, Tree's not being held hostage. She good, boys. Everybody, all right, she good. Tree is okay, and she's not being held anywhere under duress. So don't put that out there. We love everybody. Please don't do it. But yeah, like I said, the Hawks look good last night. I was just really shocked at the way they came back. And really, the big thing with this team is like it always is. And these guys, of course, say it in all press conferences that NBA is a make-miss league. I get that. But with the Hawks, it's really a big deal. When they shoot well from three-point, as they did the last two nights, this team is a really tough team to beat. Yeah. Really tough team to beat. Okay, I'm going to have to reiterate again to Todd. He evidently is packing up his rescue gear. He says he's on his way to come rescue you from he's packing up all his military gear and yep, he's calling in the SWAT team. He wants to make sure all is good. So my man, that's my man Todd. But yeah, like you said again, Hawks really did look good last night. Like I said, DeJounte Murray had 41 points, and yeah, they if they could somehow continue to play like that, this is a team that really could do some damage, in postseason. And the interesting thing is, and this is going to continue to come up, a lot of the big surges that the Hawks had actually came when Trey was not in the game. I don't know whether they just got a little bit smoother movement of the ball. I'm not sure, but the bottom line is that once he was out of the game, it seemed the Hawks played well. Now, we will put a disclaimer out. Apparently, Trey is injured. He suffered some type of leg injury, so he's not at 100%. So that could be why that we've not seen his shooting improve much from what it was last year. But at the end of the day, like I say again, big shout out to the Hawks. Listen to this treat. So in the first half, the Hawks were terrible with a capital T. They gave up a staggering 79 points. They were down 79 to 60 at the half. 79 points at the half.
That's horrible. No defense.
I mean, well, what was happening was they were just too long. Now that Minnesota has Rudy Gobert, they also have Karl Anthony Towns, and that front line was just destroying the Hawks. The Hawks seemed to have no answer. But apparently, Quinn Snyder did what coaches are supposed to do. He made a halftime adjustment. In the second half, the Hawks held the Timberwolves to 37 points, 34 points, including only 15 in the fourth quarter. Outscored 38-19 in the third quarter, and that really was a turning point to the game. Let's take a look at the stats really quickly here. For the Timberwolves, as I mentioned, Karl Anthony Towns was really hammering away at the Hawks in the first half, but he kind of was shut down the second half. He ended up with 16 points, 10 rebounds. Also for the Timberwolves, Rudy Gobert, 14 points, 13 rebounds. And Anthony Edwards, a guy who played right here at the University of Georgia, every time he comes to the lane, he does the same thing. Lit up the Hawks, 31 points, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists. Yeah, just blistered them. But the Hawks had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players in double figures, led by, as I mentioned, DeJounte Murray. Listen to stat line tree: 41 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists for DeJounte Murray, and played 39 of the 48 minutes. Trae Young, although he's hobbled, 24 points, 8 assists, and Sadiq Bey, 11.6 assists, and DeAndre Hunter, who's been playing very well this year, 16 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. He's averaging about 17 points a game. And Jalen Johnson, relishing his new role, 12 points, 3 assists, 5 rebounds, and a monster, I do mean a monster dunk, to kind of put the capstone on the Hawks win last night. So big shout out to the Hawks, and hopefully they can continue to play the way they've been playing. That's our hope. So hopefully they can hang on. We are once again, I will put a big shout out to the Hawks for once again giving us credentials for the entire year. Thank you, Atlanta Hawks. Unlike the Falcons,
Thank
who
you,
won't even give me a
Atlanta.
credential for a game. Thank you. That's right. That means I'll be able to not only go myself, but send some of my team members like the lovely Tree. And we also looking to have some interns maybe join us this year as well. So I'll put it out one more time, guys. If you have a high school student or a college student that is looking to get involved with sports, I'm not guaranteeing they're going to go to a Hawk game, but the bottom line is that they could get an opportunity to go to a Hawk game if they perform well. But at the very least, they'll be able to get hands-on experience here on the Real Talk Sports Show. So let's put that up here on the screen so you guys can know how to contact us. Please shoot me an email, jsimmons@realtalksports.net. Please, if you could do that, or you can text me or call me, 678-410-9833, and we would love to have your young person be a part of our show. So please, please, please. Elsewhere in sports, have you been watching any of the World Series at all, Tree?
No.
Guess what? Me neither. I hate to admit it. I just have not. I think because of the fact that the Braves are not in it, I really have no interest. I hate to put it that way. I know as a sports guy, you should have interest all the time, but I really don't have much of any. But it has been good. The Diamondbacks and the Rangers. I mean, they're there. I mean, so whether we like it or not, whether we think other teams should be there, we don't know. But I do know this much. I do know that they are going to be looking very hard at the playoff structure, because everybody that has played Major League Baseball has all said the same thing, that, look, man, at the end of the day, a 5-day layoff is too much for these teams, especially teams that, used to get, being into a rhythm. They say it's just too much. So we'll see if they make a change. Right now, it is the Texas Rangers that lead this series 2-1. They are now in game 4. It's now 0-0 here in the top of the first. Like I said, Rangers up 2-1 over the Arizona Diamondbacks after they won the other night, 3-1. They have the lead, and we shall see who will do this. The Diamondbacks are at home, so this is a must-win for them, because you certainly don't want to go down 3-1 and have to, try to win 3 straight games against any type of team that competes in the World Series. So we'll see what happens here. But right now, Rangers again ahead, 2-1 in that series over the Diamondbackies. So, yeah, I will just tell you guys, I love you guys, but for you baseball fans, we won't be doing too much of that. I'm just saying, because our team ain't in there. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick little break here, early break. We'll be back with more of the Real Talk Sports Show. Hopefully, the Queen will be able to stay with us as she is traveling from points unknown. We'll be back with more of the Real Talk Sports Show in just a moment. Don't go nowhere. We'll be back with more. I think we'll be back. Hell.
The day has arrived. It's time to let more people know about your business. You have the right marketing plan and the messaging in place. But do you have the right messenger? Good advertising and promotions need a professional sound so the message can be clearly understood. Don't leave your brand image to chance. Let our team of voiceover experts at CME lend you a hand. Give us a call at 678-304-8121 to find out how we can partner with you to give your business its voice.
No sample there. Friday Night Lights. As you guys know, we cover high school football here, brought to you by our title sponsor for high school football, Allen Vigil Ford in Lincoln. And we are very appreciative and thankful to Mr. Vigil for his continued support of high school football. You're watching and listening to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, the Minister Jonathan Simmons, and we're here live again as she travels from points unknown. The mysterious, but always lovely, Tree Dome is in the building. And we appreciate her for joining us here as she travels, like you say, again, from to and fro. Yeah, so Tree, like I said, high school football continues to be a big deal with us. And we've had a chance now to actually go into DeKalb County. And we were able to cover a team in DeKalb who's having one of their best years. I'm talking about Stevenson High School. The Jaguars now find themselves, I believe the record is 6-2 overall. They are clinched a home berth for the playoffs for the first time in years. So let's give a big shout out to the boys at Stevenson High School. Big job there for those guys. Well, here's what we're going to do, guys. We're going to let you guys take a look. Like I said, we got a chance to watch Stevenson. They had a big win over their arch rival, Holy Innocent. Holy Innocent last year knocked them off, really beat the brakes off them at home. This time, Holy Innocent had to travel to the home field of Stevenson. And Stevenson, this time, they ended up winning. And they took it down. So we're going to do this. Like I said, guys, since Tree is traveling, we're going to go ahead and skip high school football for the time being. We're going to let her talk a little bit about college football and her Detroit Lions before she has to sign off. So let's go back here. And first of all, let's take a look at the rankings for college football. Now, Michigan fans may not like this too much. They re-racked the top four, and as it stands right now, if the college football playoffs were to start tomorrow, the arch rival, the Ohio State Buckeyes, for the first time in years, has now moved to the number one overall spot, edging the defending two-time champion Georgia Bulldogs, who mysteriously, even after a win, dropped down to number two. The Michigan Wolverines also go a notch down to number three, and the Florida State Seminoles continue to hold court at 8-0 at number 4, Washington at 5, and Oregon at 6. Well, Tree, what do you think about the idea of your arch rival, the Ohio State Buckeyes, now moving into that number one slot? Those eyes tell it all.
I mean, I'm not understanding why Michigan moved out. Somebody tell me.
Yeah, I can't understand that. I can't understand, them moving the Bulldogs down to 2, moving your guys down to 3. I'm not quite sure what is grabbing everybody with the Ohio State Buckeyes, but the bottom line is they are now ranked number 1. I tell you what I think it really is. Okay. If it stays that way, what you would get is an Ohio State, Florida State matchup and a rematch of Georgia and Michigan.
Yeah.
Now, of course, that if everybody wins out, that's not going to be possible because either Ohio State or Michigan is going to lose because they play one another. So somebody's going to have an L. And the bottom line is it's going to be unlikely, unless the game is really, really close, that they're going to take a one-loss, non-champion Big Ten team over an undefeated Washington team. So it's going to be interesting. But that's why they got that way. They don't want to see they want to make sure that the Big Ten doesn't have to play one another if it comes down to that. So that's why I think they have those rankings like that right now. So, but that's it, guys. That's your top 4. The Ohio State Buckeyes, number 1. Georgia, number 2. The Michigan Wolverines, number 3. Florida State at 4. And right behind them, knocking on the door, is Washington. And oh, by the way, folks, those are the only remaining Power 5 teams that are at this point undefeated. And as I mentioned, between Michigan and Ohio State. They have to play one another. So, one of them is going to lose. And of course, Georgia still has some games in their schedule, as does Washington. So
Yeah.
that's it, guys. That's what you got right there. All right. Let's take a quick shift here to the Detroit Lions last night. Another win for the Lions. Tree, what do you think about what your guys are doing this season at the halfway point, 6-2 overall?
Yeah, I'm really excited about my Lions. I keep telling you guys that we're going to the Super Bowl this year. I know that everybody said I was from Delusionville and delusional and poetry, but the Detroit Lions are going to the Super Bowl. I'm very excited about what I've been seeing, and I just can't wait to see more.
Yeah, I mean, they're balling out. I mean, no question. And they have a team that's a well-rounded team, good offensive team, good defense. Jahmyr Gibbs, a guy I saw here at Georgia Tech before he transferred to Alabama. Yeah, he's come off of injury. I think he rushed for about 150 yards in their win. Jared Goff, as much as people want to poke fun of him, he did take the Rams to the Super Bowl. So this guy's an experienced quarterback, and he was a big-time QB, top 10 draftee when he came out of college. So, I mean, this team is, they're stacked. Let's go to social media.
You said what? Oh.
Todd said, "Who said that?" LOL.
Todd said
If
what?
you're talking, Todd said, "Who said that?" LOL. Yeah, I'm not sure what he means by that. Yeah, Tree said that. She said her Lions are going to go to Super Bowl. Look, at the end of the day, I mean, like I mentioned, this is a team that is a well-rounded team, a team that very easily could get by Philadelphia in that championship game and knock them off because their defense is stout. They have a good pass rush. They, like I said, they run the ball, and Jared Goff is an underrated quarterback, especially in a year which, as much as we get on Desmond Ridder here in Atlanta, the realities are, if you look at the numbers, quarterback play is down all across the NFL. Even Jalen Hurts, as good as he is, he already has 8 interceptions so far this year. The only quarterback that really has been balling out, really, head and shoulders above the crowd, is Tua, I'm not going to pronounce his last name, from Miami. I mean, even the guy who's the presumptive future GOAT, Patrick Mahomes, he's playing well, but not a Patrick Mahomes type year. So anyway, we'll see what happens. But the bottom line is, yeah, your Lions have as good a shot as anybody get in there. They have a well-balanced team. I know you're excited about that. And, it's I'm sure he's telling his players the same thing. He's like, look, why not us? Why not now?
Yeah,
Why shouldn't we go?
everybody was saying that we got exposed last week when we lost to the Baltimore Ravens. And like I said then, I was fine with it. We needed that loss to go ahead and move us forward in the future. So I'd rather us lose now than in the future when it really counts and you can't lose. This loss we learned from. We're playing better. We didn't even play excellent last night, but we still got the W, and that's all I care about. So we still have more work to do, and we still have more improvement and watching the film and correcting things, but I'm really excited about the defense, the offense. Everybody is just showing out, and records are being broken this year with the Detroit Lions franchise, and so we're all excited.
Like I said, they're playing good ball. We can't say anything bad about them. I mean, there's just a well-balanced team. All right, Todd is saying, he says, but Tree, 49ers today just got Chase Young. Not looking good for the Lions to the Super Bowl. Right.
I wanted us to get Chase Young. I mean, we definitely could use another pass rusher, but we got another wide receiver, and I'm trusting the coach and the GM and seeing what we're going to do. I feel that we can go to the Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl with our roster. I believe in our team, so we'll see what happens.
Look, when I see stuff like that, it really it makes me wonder, what's going on here with this front office. I mean, you have a situation where no, but seriously, because you look at the Falcons, this is you already have a, at best, average to mediocre pass rush. Then you couple that with the fact that, your best defensive player, Grady Jarrett, is out for the year. And I'm thinking, you made no attempt, or maybe they did make an attempt to get Chase Young, no attempt to get, Montez Sweat, his traveling partner. I'm like, what are you guys trying to do here? But maybe this team is trying to tell us we're not going to try to win anything this year. We're going to try to build this team a work in progress. We don't want to spend the money. I don't really know. But right now, I'm totally baffled to why this team can't find a way to get a pass rusher, because it's good. Again, their defense is top 10 so far this year, but half their games have been mediocre. So I guess against mediocre teams. I don't get it. Todd says here, that's what he said before about the 49ers. All right. He said the 49ers only gave up a third-round pick to get
I saw
Chase
that.
Young.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if that's the case, I mean, unless this guy is bosom buddies, that's an outrage that the Falcons couldn't have given up a second rounder to get him. I mean, it's the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, and
I
my
mean,
Lions, 'cause we wanted him too.
well, yeah, I mean, well, every team would want a guy like Chase Young. I mean, certainly you couple a Chase Young with your guy you have up there already, the second year man. I mean, yeah, that would have been a defense for the ages, no doubt about it. But like I said, your team is set up to go far in the playoffs because they have their complete team. They can run the ball well. They're a good defensive team. Jared Goff, like I said, is an underrated quarterback. So yeah, the Lions have a really good shot to get there. Of course, like you said, the 49ers now are going to give them all they can handle if they were to draw them, and the Eagles will give them all they can handle
Oh
because
yeah.
as much as he's not the Julio Jones of the past, I think that on a team like the Eagles, he can make some plays when they absolutely need someone to make a play. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting. NFC, you got, like I said, some really good teams now. 49ers, Eagles, Detroit, all three of those teams could win the Super Bowl. So it's
I,
definitely going to be
I
interesting to
mean,
see how it all stacks up.
I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park. I know that we're going to play some tough teams, some talented teams, but as we know in the NFL, it's any given Sunday or Monday or Thursday, whenever football is being played. Any given Sunday, as long as you work hard and you go out there and you believe, you can beat anybody. And like I said, I believe in my Lions, and I know that we can beat anybody. One thing that a lot of people are failing to realize, if you look everywhere you see the Lions, you see grit. That's what we stand for. That's what we're all about. And I feel that this is our year.
Like I said, you guys got good shots. Anybody's going to be good stuff. All right. Todd says Mr. Blank is on his way to fly up to Michigan to get Jim from Michigan. He's talking about getting Jim Harbaugh.
Now y'all can't have
Todd,
him.
Todd
We're
is
keeping Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere. I mean, there was some talk, obviously, about him going to the Bears because he did play for the Bears for a few
Yeah.
seasons. And certainly, I mean, the thing about people can poke fun at Harbaugh and say what they want, but this guy has proven he is a top tier coach.
Yes.
He took the 49ers to the playoffs, to the NFC Championship twice, got him to the Super Bowl. He's won at Michigan. He finally solved the Ohio State question. He got into the college football playoffs twice. So, yeah, he's definitely a guy that is going to be sought after. But, at least up until this point, he has said, I'm not going anywhere. So hopefully he'll be able to stay there and do what he needs to do. So we look for some good stuff here. All right, Trey, I know you have to go, but before you go, you have to do this really, really quickly. Your tag team partner, the one and only. Let me just flash up. I got a nice little card here so you guys know who this is. I'm going to flash it up. Here we go. This man is, bam, two-time Super Bowl champion. Bam, National Black College Alumni Hall of Famer. Bam, first ever Carolina Panther defensive draft selection. I'm talking about the one and only number 38. Tyrone Poole is back in the building. What's going on, sir?
Hey, what tree got her? What tree got her? Tree got her Halloween mask.
Yeah, I'm in the airport, so I have my mask on. I'm traveling.
Tree out there trick or treating. You got some M&Ms and some Kit Kats and some Milky Ways. Let me see your bag. You got the big pumpkin plastic bag, or you walk around with the brown paper bag? Which one? You got the plastic pumpkin bucket or the brown plastic bag? Which one?
No.
Hey, Tyrone, listen. When she first came on, look, Todd panicked. He said, this is what he said. Hey man, somebody done kidnapped Tree. He ready to go, bro. He was strapped up. He was like, he was about to get the SWAT team, everything. He was like, oh no, they got my Tree. No way. Yeah, so Todd got confused there. Yes, indeed. Tyrone, how you be, sir? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you, sir.
Always good to be heard. What is it? Good to be seen and not viewed. Isn't it?
And not viewed. Amen. And see, I didn't really understand that until my birthdays began with a 6. Then I was like, hey, you know what? They got a point here with this thing, man. You know, it's good to be seen and not viewed for now. Amen. Well, Tree, listen, I know you gotta get to your flight. Thank you for joining us, coming on, and thank you also for not being kidnapped. All right, guys, we're gonna take a break. We'll be back with more of the Real Talk Sports Show in just a moment. Don't go anywhere, please. And again, don't call the police. Tree is traveling. She's not been kidnapped. Amen.
Are you in the market for a new vehicle? Well, check out Allen Vigil Ford Lincoln in Morrow, Georgia. We have one of the largest inventories in our area for both new and pre-owned vehicles, so we're sure to have something for everyone. Family owned and operated since 1982, customer satisfaction is our number one priority. Come see our full lineup of vehicles and find the one that best fits you. Give us a call today, 678-726-5739, or shop us 24/7 online at allenvigilford.net.
Back, you are watching, listening, and tuning in to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, the Minister Jonathan Simmons, and right next to me is the Hall of Famer, Mr. Tyrone Poole. Well, Tyrone, you know we cover a lot of high school football, and I talked in the previous segment before you came on about Stevenson High School. But the other thing we do is we go to the Atlanta Touchdown Club, where every month they give an award for top back of the week, of the month, and top defensive player of the month. And we have a young man that I think he's not too far from you. He's playing right now at North Atlanta High School, and we'll let people listen to this young man right now. All right, guys, we're at the Atlanta Touchdown Club, and as you know, we always have two great winners here, and this young man is going to introduce himself to you right now.
I'm Demetrius Barnes. I play for North Atlanta, class 2024 running back.
Demetrius, what does it mean to you to get this award? So many great Georgia players in high school won this award. What does it mean to you?
Yes, sir. It means a lot, and I thank you for even the people that voted for me or nominated me. It's just this award right here means a lot to me. Thank you.
Look, you know, a lot of guys, I always ask this question when I meet these young men. So a lot of guys always have some things they do at the school outside of football, whether it be feed the homeless, whether you give back to the little kids. What are some of the things you like to do outside of football like that?
I try to give back to the little kids, just the game in general. Like, they like to come, it'd be like a player of the week at our game or something. I dap them up, give them a little card, write my name on it, all that.
All right, listen, how can people find more about you on social media, Twitter, and the gram?
My Instagram is Lilmedee, Lilmedee. My Twitter is Demetrius, Demeitreus1.
Demetrius, again, congratulations and thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, God bless.
God bless.
These young men are balling out. This guy had like 200-something yards in his last game and for 4 touchdowns, so it was great to see him. It's also great to see this gentleman right here, Tyrone, a guy I think that you know as well. Guys, look, I got Brian Jordan right here. Guess where we're at, the Atlanta Touchdown Club. Brian just bringing, some great remarks. Hey, man, you said something about you being involved with children's books. Tell people a little bit about that real quick, how they can find out more information about what you're doing.
Yes, first you can go to BrianJordanFoundation.com or twosportman.com. Yes, I have 6 children's books out there. I got reading challenges going on in Forsyth County and Richmond County and Augusta. I love reading the kids and always motivating and inspiring those guys to read. The knowledge is in the books, and man, with the way this world is today, we need to read.
And check this out, doing it through kickball challenges. How about that? Listen, Brian, again, we appreciate you. How can people follow you on social media and, just kind of keep up with you, social media?
What? I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram, the official Brian Jordan 33.
That's right, not the imitation, the official. Brian, thanks for joining us, man.
All right, buddy.
The man, Two Sport Man. See, you thought Deion was the only guy who could do that. I told you.
That's right. That's right.
Appreciate you.
That's my guy, Brian Jordan, man.
Yeah, I know you got it, man. That's why I want to make sure you get that clip up there, man. That's your dude. I mention this to people all the time, man. It's like one of the reasons why we try to do this is that A lot of people don't realize that guys like yourself, Brian, are giving so much back in the community, and everybody just thinks that guys are just doing camps and all that kind of stuff, which is fine. But you guys are really, take time to get back out to the kids. So we appreciate all you're doing, man.
Yeah, just Brian, man. I was at his. Well, they had an event up in Gwinnett, the Gwinnett Braves. I think it's Gwinnett Braves. They had an event, a softball game. I played in the softball game. And man, can you believe I struck out in softball? I struck out in softball, man. How you strike out in softball, man? It's kind of like that movie where Tom Hanks, League of Their Own. He says, "Are you crying? Are you crying? There's no crying in baseball."
No crying in baseball, baby.
Out in softball, man. How you strike out in softball? I think I was trying to kill the ball. That's what it was. I was trying to swing for the fences, baby. I was trying to go over the fence.
You want to be some Showtime. That's what you're trying. You trying to put a pool show. You're like, I'm about to show them what I got.
I know. Yeah, I just want to give Brian some shout outs, man. A lot of people don't realize, man, Brian Jordan, he played 2 sports, like you acknowledged. He played safety for the Falcons when Dion was here. And then he played a long stint, had a baseball career, played with the Braves. And I'm looking at his stats, man. And basically his best seasons were between 1998 all the way up to 2002. So, he had a pretty good career, man. Home run wise, his highest was 25 home runs. He did that twice. He came out as a Cardinal, right? He came out as a Cardinal, the St. Louis Cardinals, and then came to the Braves, man. Had a stint with the Dodgers. But yeah, man, Falcon and baseball player. So when you think about Bo Jackson and Deion Sanders, make sure you put Brian Jordan's name up there too. The only thing I'll say that keeps Brian Jordan from being in the names with Bo Jackson and Deion Sanders is his PR machine. Brian's a real cool dude, man.
Very low key.
Wear his name on his back. But yeah, look him up, look his stats up, man. He's a great 2-sport athlete as well.
Yeah, man, definitely one of the all-time greats. Just gonna adjust my light a little bit here since my mom said, "You shining, son. You shiny face." Yeah, but at the end of the day, yeah, he was one of the all-time great 2-way sportsmen, and obviously played here with Dion, and yeah, man, because that people forget, man, that team that they had in the early '90s with him, Dion, I forget who else was in that defensive backfield, man. Them guys were stout.
They had Tim McKyer. They had Tim McKyer.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that was Jerry Glanville walking the sideline with all that black on, wasn't he?
Yes, sir. Yeah, they ain't play around, man. They ain't play around at all. Yeah. And Todd was talking about the Braves. He said they about to lose their third base coach, Ron Washington. Yeah, that guy is he's heading to Houston. It makes sense because just real quick before we get into pro football, yeah, Ron Washington, a lot of people forget that he was a manager himself and actually got the Texas Rangers twice to the World Series and lost in back-to-back years in heartbreaking fashion. So yeah, Ron Washington is a bad man, and he kept the Braves running over the last couple of years. So yeah, most likely he's going to replace his good buddy, Dusty Baker, a guy who also played here for the Braves for a minute as well. So kudos to Ron Washington if he's able to pull that off, man, because he's a good guy, good manager, good baseball man. But yeah, man, it's always cool to see guys like Brian, man. He's poured a lot into the community here. He stays here. And again, he was one of the great Falcons, man. He said the only reason why he left, he said, because he understood the wear and tear on his body. He said, man, after that, I think that 4th year, he said, nah, I'm going back to baseball. And he actually played, I think, 15 years total in the Major League Baseball.
Yeah, and I would do it too. Back in the day, back when safeties could hit, the receivers coming across the middle, it wasn't wear and tear on your body, but I'm pretty sure Brian would definitely play football in this day and age because basically it's like tag football. I actually saw a football game. I think it was a collegiate game, and the receiver came across the middle, and the actual safety pulled up. He stopped and then tried to make the tackle. See,
that's how you get hurt.
Exactly. So I'm like, they're putting the defensive guys at risk of being while they trying to protect the offensive guys. But I'm like, back in the day, shoot, they told us when you go to tackle somebody, you pretend like it's 3 other people on the other side of that one person that you're trying to tackle. You run
Right.
through them. So
You want your helmet. You want your helmet to come out that back. You want the helmet to go out the back of his numbers, not the front, out the back. That's your target is. It's like, listen, at the end of the day, man, it's like this. Just like the big controversy this weekend about Shiloh. I mean, they're like, hey, they threw him out of the game, but dude, he led with his shoulder.
You talking about DB, right? Deion's son, right?
Yeah, Deion's son.
That was a clean hit, man. I'm like, I think what really got him in trouble was the fact that the guy hit the ground too hard.
Yeah, and what happened is what triggered it is if you watch the replay.
Went over your head right there, Jonathan.
No, I hit you, bro. Listen. At the end of the day, that's the problem. The problem is that if it looks like a big hit, they're gonna try to hit you for targeting. It don't matter as long as your upper body anywhere hits that receiver. His head's going to recoil, and on the replay, after a shoulder hit, the guy dropped, and then his helmet clipped the front. Oh, no, you leave with your helmet. He didn't. You watch the replay. He led like this with his shoulder, like he's supposed to do.
Man,
it's ridiculous.
He did everything they teach us to do on defense.
Textbook tackle.
They teach. That's why they have those dummies. They call them dummies, right? They have those dummies on top of a sled that you push, right? You push. Yep. You push it because you try to drive your feet. They say run through the tackle, right? And then when you grab that dummy, you got to grab it, and then you push it up. So you get your shoulder pad, you drop your butt. That's what they always tell them. They say drop your butt, squat, and lift up. That's why you squat. Like Bill Parcells said. He said, that's why you lift all those weights. That's what you lift all those weights for. That's what you do squat for. You squat so you can explode up. And he just did what was being taught in football. But now, football, they need to put some, I don't know, turn it into flag football like they do the Pro Bowl. I don't know.
Hey, listen, this is when you know that it's got lightweight. When a quarterback says that they're playing a different type of football that's become too protective. Tom Brady said this is a guy that basically his career was extended because of that. He said, man, he says too much. He said it's not even, it's really becoming to the point where it's not really football in the traditional sense. And I tell people, I'm not trying to see nobody get hurt. I don't want to see guys get in jeopardy, but come on.
That's the name of the game. It comes with the territory. It's like the water in the wet. You can't say you're going to jump in the pool. You want to jump in some water, but you don't want to get wet. You can't say I want to get wet, but I don't want to jump in no water. They come together. So again, and Tom, I say this about Tom, man. A lot of people may have a wrong perception about Tom. Tom is tough, man. Tom is tough. And I always tell Peter, ask me, how tough is he? How tough? Well, Tom used to come in and live with the defensive guys, man. That's why, and that's how he played. He played with a defensive mentality, man. You look at Peyton, and Peyton very well could have been known as the GOAT as well. I definitely say that because if if the Patriots and the Colts didn't have to play each other in the AFC Championship game, then Peyton would have gone to as many Super Bowls and had as many Super Bowl opportunities as Tom. But unfortunately, Peyton had to go through Foxborough.
That's right. And that was it. That was his kryptonite, man. And really, they wouldn't have went to the Super Bowl that other time had not Bill Belichick just been so cocky to say, I'm gonna go for it on my own 34-yard line. The Saints would never came back to win that game.
Yeah.
They were getting housed in. So let's go to social media. Todd said NFL with the gambling now is rigged, and that some of the refs are compromised and decided games. Yeah, man, listen. I'm gonna tell you, Tyrone, at some point there's gonna be a major scandal in pro sports about games being altered. Yeah. It's I don't know if it's going to be this year, next year, but within the next 2 years, you're going to see it's going to be a major scandal. Now, basketball hushed that dude up really quick and got him out of there, but you're going to see something's going to jump off because it's too much money, and the leagues have now let gambling interests be in the stadiums like they are in Las Vegas. They're promoting them on the broadcast, and it's just it's too much, man. You're gonna see it's gonna be a big scandal.
I saw this video of Jerry Rice and Tim Brown talking, and they were talking about the week of the Super Bowl. um, which I agree 100% with what they were saying as far as when we practice a whole week of what we're going to do on Sunday. And I've never been a part of a team where the coach walks in and changes the whole game plan the night or the day before the game. And I was listening to Jerry and Tim Brown talk about the week of that Super Bowl that they played Tampa Bay. And, Tim Brown was just saying how Callahan, I think he was the head coach at the time. He comes in and basically, hey, gentlemen, we got a whole new playbook. What? We've been working all this week. Now, remind you, now there's 2 weeks that they prepare for the Super Bowl. And then they come in and the night or the day before the Super Bowl. So I'm like, and then again, I go back to when Tampa Bay played Green Bay. There's no way in the world Green Bay should have lost that game, man. I still go back to the point where you got Aaron Rodgers trying to scramble, man, and he going to throw the ball across his body. Again, I think COVID was happening at that time, and they understood hot spots, and they were like, okay, if 2 teams from out of state come in, they're going to bring their fans. That's going to make it even worse. Then they're going to take whatever COVID back to their states. So you know what? I got it. Let's let Tampa Bay get in. Yeah, Tampa Bay, that's 1 team. And then we only got 1 team coming in. Come on, man. I'm like, I don't know. That's what I heard. I don't know.
You said, bro, there's a lot of slim shady stuff that's going on. They've shown it, even in terms of if you look at ball placement. A lot of times when they're trying to determine first down, there's been numerous times where on replay it clearly showed either someone getting the first down or not getting it, and the referees was like, "Nah, first down," or "Nope, fourth down." The whole thing, man, is crazy. Oh yeah, listen, I remember this. Todd's talking about he said the Pitts game when he means Pittsburgh in the Super Bowl. If you watch that game when they played against Dallas, who's the quarterback then, man? I can't call his name right now, man. But that guy, he did throw some picks, and when you watch on a replay, you're like thinking, dude, there's no Steeler in the picture, bro. I mean,
I think sometimes, like I said, we don't see what we also got to take into account. We're seeing the highlights. We don't see what you need to see is the coach's cam. The coach's cam is basically that camera that sits up and you see everything, right? That's how we study film. When we study teams, we don't look at the television version that everybody looks at. We look at the coach's cam. The coach's cam, you see everybody. So I would have to see that entire coach's cam to see what happened, because sometimes a receiver can be there, right? And he's standing there with his hands open. I'm open. And then the last second, he take off. Now the quarterback don't get into that motion to throw the ball. And then it's like, in motion, it's like trying to make a tackle. You can't stop it. It's almost like when you see those quarterbacks go back and they go to try to throw the ball, they try to stop it. You can't stop that motion, man. The ball come out your hand. So I would have to see that actual film to see how that play actually unfolded, because I have seen guys stand there, I'm open, and then they see the quarterback getting in trouble, or maybe they run the wrong route. I don't know. So I would actually have to see that to validate that.
I'm gonna tell you, brother, if you go on the YouTube and watch that, it was a '96 Super Bowl, Dallas against Pittsburgh, and you watch O'Donnell, man, dude, at least 2 of the interceptions.
Jonathan, I know the play
Huh?
you're talking about. It looked like
You're talking about right.
Right to it. But again,
Right.
you got to see the entire movement of that play. Again, I've seen guys turn around and then boom, they take off and start running, and the quarterback throw the ball, and the DB is watching the quarterback. So the receiver takes off, the DB like, oh, he got the ball, and he just stands there. So again, it may look like 12 inches until you measure, and then you find out it's 14 inches. So again, I have to see that film, man.
Yeah, you watch the film, you'll be laughing, bro. Because I mean, one of them it might have been that way, but 2 of them he threw.
That's his name, Neil O'Donnell.
Neil O'Donnell. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he looked like, dude. He looked like something crazy. And actually, on that last one, Todd brought it up here. He says, yeah, coach knew something was up. Yeah, because if you watch even the head coach, he looked like, what the? I mean, dude, what are you doing? I mean, that wasn't in the playbook. I don't know what you was doing. It is. Yeah, it looked crazy, bro. So I don't know what happened there, but yeah, you're gonna see a big scandal, I think, in professional football. Well, speaking of scandal, it won't be a scandal, but we have a quarterback controversy in full bloom here in Atlanta. Last week, we saw Desmond Ritter once again fumble the ball. Falcons only scored 3 points in the first half. Allegedly, due to a concussion, Desmond Ritter was not able to finish the game. And you know who? The hometown hero, Mr. Tyler Heinicke, came in, and the Falcons offense was clicking on all cylinders, sir. But they end up losing 28-23 at the end of the ball game. But the big question is, are they going to start Taylor Heinicke in this game? Would you do it, Tyrone? What do you think?
First and foremost, I would have to see Tyler Heinicke's contract. Now, if he has a 1-year deal with the Falcons,
Which he does not.
No, he has a 1-year deal.
Nope.
It's a multi-year deal.
Multi-year deal, and for decent money for a backup quarterback. Let me pull it up. Go ahead, keep talking.
Well, in that case, then yes, the name of the game is to win, right? You put your best quarterback in there, and if it's Tyler Heinicke, then you put him in there. You let him go for it. But I was going to say, if he got a 1-year deal from a financial standpoint, no, you keep Desmond Ritter in there and you ride it out. Because I say that because from a financial standpoint, say if Heinicke gets in there and he just has a superb year, now you're in a pinch. Do you pay this guy top dollars when really he's been a backup all his career? Because you know that's what he's going to ask for. Or do you say we're going to ride it out with Desmond Ritter and boom, hope he get better? But since Heinicke has a multi-year deal, then even if he balls out, you still get him back next year and he can ride the offense until you find yourself another quarterback, and still he'll be playing up under his original contract. And you still got Desmond Ritter up under his rookie deal. But at the end of the day, the name of the game is to win. So from those two standpoints, that's how I would look at it. Since Heinicke has a multi-year deal, it's all about winning right now. Let's go ahead and put him in, and let's go. Desmond Ritter, I thought they should have put him in, last year real early, so they wouldn't get to this point where they would at least understand who he is. But now, with the injury, you're never supposed to lose your job to an injury. That's bottom line. That's supposed to be the sports adequacy. You never lose your job to an injury. You get a guy an opportunity to come back. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see Ritter back in there if he clears protocol. And but the first scene or incident where he's struggling, I think they're gonna pull him. But from a coaching standpoint, if I'm a coach, I don't give somebody a starting job because of somebody's injury. That person comes back, let them perform. But at the first sight, if they're not performing, boom, pulling a player card. Bring him in. Right? They doing baseball. They call for the relief pitcher. He tap his arm. He's a right-hander relief pitcher. I'm going out here to get this joke off the mound. Bring in a right-hander. So he maybe give it to Desmond Ritter, and then hey, if he mess up, Heinicke. So I don't know. We'll see.
Here's all I can say about this. I mean, everybody keeps talking about this and controversy, but look. What I can understand, everybody was like, "Oh, you comparing to Terry Bradshaw?" I wasn't. What I'm saying is, Hall of Fame quarterbacks have been benched. Matter of fact, Falcons fans have a bad memory. When Michael Vick was smoking that weed and he wasn't playing right, there were people asking for Michael Vick. That's right, Mr. The Michael Vick experience to be benched in favor of Swab because Mike wasn't running the offense. He was not a player when they brought in what's his name's son to coach him with that West Coast offense. Mike wasn't even doing he wasn't even looking at the playbook, and he was throwing bad interceptions, throwing the ball too hard, missing receivers, and people were saying, "Hey man, we love Mike, but maybe he needs to sit down." And so I don't understand why people are tripping. Matter of fact, the Patriots, when what's his name got injured, that's how Tom Brady got his spot.
But that's different.
And when he came back, didn't Brady keep the spot?
You know what? Again, my thing is you never lose your starting job because of injury, right? And again, depending on where you are in the season, right? So that could influence the decision. So yeah, you can name Drew Bledsoe and Tom and everything. It's a whole lot of other people that
Right, a lot of other people.
quarterbacks that benched, but they were able to come back and at least fight for their job. So I think that's what you're going to see here. It's still early in the season. I think you give Ritter an opportunity to come back once he clears protocol. But at the first sign of struggle, I think you go to the relief pitcher. You go to Heinicke.
Look, so evidently in the press conference the other day, yeah, the coach got a little testy, yelled at D-Led, and then Todd said, Tyrone, he's not injured. Yeah, so listen, at the end of the day, Tyrone, you trying to win ball games. We can't be messing around. This is a team that has a team that's good enough to go to the playoffs for two reasons. Number one, you actually have a halfway decent defense. You got plenty of weapons on offense, and you're in the NFC South where outside the Saints, the teams are not that good. So this is an opportunity. It's not time to be messing around. This is a time that you need to go ahead and do what you got to do. I'm going to read these stats really quickly from Taylor Heinicke. Almost all of these in the second half. He was 12 of 21, 175 yards and a touchdown. He also ran the ball as well. 2 rushes for 14 yards, including a spectacular drive-saving 8-yard run where this guy looked like Houdini. I thought he was sacked 2, 3, 4 times and somehow wiggled out and was able to get it to a 4th and 1, which they converted and later went on to score. So, yeah, man, I mean, everything just looked smoother when he was in the game.
Well, of course,
I like Desmond Ritter.
Everything looks smoother when you want change. Everything looks smoother. I can remember back in the day when you were screaming for Ritter, so it's just like anything, when things not looking good, you want change. But again, that's what you call bandwagon riders, So I don't know, Jonathan, are you a bandwagon rider, man? Are you a front?
No.
Are you a front?
Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna play back my comments. I'm gonna play them back because every time I talked about Ritter, I said the following things. I said the reason why I like Ritter, I said because number one, the guy has shown that at least in college, that he was not ruffled or rattled against big time opponents, even though he was outgunned. And number two, I emphasize this repeatedly, he didn't turn the ball over.
Who was the quarterback in front of him? Who was the quarterback in front of him last year?
In front of Ritter last year? You talking about Ritter? Yeah, Mariota.
Okay, so you didn't like Mariota, so who you start? It's just like voting. If you don't like this president, this candidate, then you're gonna say everything that you need to say to make yourself believe that this other candidate is the best candidate. So so you said the same thing again. But
I just want to see, all I want to see is winning football. And so I'd say the same thing I always say. It's like this. All I look at is great coaches and great teams. And so I look at historical concepts. I looked just a few years ago in college. You had a guy guy was a scrub. I think he was in his college career, I think it was like something like 22-2 or 22-1, had led his team to a national title. For whatever reason, he wasn't playing that well in a national title game. Guess what? His head coach said to him, hey, you got to sit down. Isn't that what happened in Alabama? And guess what? They ended up winning the national title.
That's college, Jonathan.
No, okay. Listen. Even Joe Montana was in danger of being benched when they had Steve Young because he wasn't playing well. I like Ritter, but the guy's not playing well right now. Okay,
Joe's up in age.
Huh?
Joe's up in age when they brought Steve Young.
Yeah, but the bottom line was he wasn't playing well. That's all I'm saying about Ritter. I love the guy, but right now he's not playing well. The guy is a turnover machine. I'm like, dude.
Let's not forget Tyler Heinicke. His record is 17-22 overall. So once he started getting into trouble, what you going to start saying, hey, we need to draft another quarterback?
Yep. Because all I care about is winning. I don't care about who, what, when, or where. I want people to win. Like I said, I like all these guys. They seem like nice fellows, but you got to win. And Tyrone, I have to tell you, I mean, that's why the NFL, as you guys call it, is not for long. Let's see what Mr. Hardy says. He says he's opened up the Pandora's box. If Ritter starts and he makes his first mistake, the fans will be screaming for Heinicke to come in. Well, we already know that.
That's the way it goes. That's the way the water flows. They're gonna give you an opportunity to come back. And then at the first sign, they may let you mess up, right? And then second mess up, they're gonna say, first time shame on you. What is it? First time shame on you when he mess up. Second time, they're gonna say shame on me, and it's not gonna happen again. Bring somebody else in. So I think they're gonna give Ritter 2 opportunities to mess up. First time, they're gonna be like, okay, all right, let's see if he does it again. And then once he does it again, then boom, Heinicke steps in. But right now, it's still Ritter's team.
Listen, Heinicke said that the guy was a stand-up guy, but I think that the coach is he's trying to find every kind of way not to start Ritter next week. Talking about, well, we got to continue to watch him and make sure he's good. I'm looking for his long-term safety. All that stuff is telling me he's trying to find a reason to continue to bench him because he cleared the protocol.
Well, here's something else as well. See, you got to understand too, Jonathan. The NFL is chess, not checkers. Like you said, and the NFC South is kind of like the weakest division, so to speak. So even if I know, and I'm gonna go back, you mentioned Alabama, right? But I'm gonna start with what you're talking about, Coach Smith not really letting people know if Ritter's gonna start. If I know that Ritter's going to start as a defensive coordinator, guess what I'm going to start doing? I'm going to go back and start looking at film, all the film that Ritter was under center. Now they got Heinicke. So now it's like the defensive coordinator got to look at a bunch of film. They got to go look at film with Tyler Heinicke because I believe that's why he was so successful. People never really saw him run that Atlanta Falcons offense. So they know what to expect, right? They've seen Ritter running. We know what he's going to do. So just like in Alabama in that game in the Sugar Bowl, it was in the championship game, right? The best thing that I thought Nick Saban did was not to pull Hurts right then, pull Jalen Hurts right then. Because if he pulled him in the second quarter, then Georgia could have gone in and spent the whole halftime coming up with a game plan to defense a left-handed quarterback. But when they came out, they still thinking Jalen Hurts is going to be the quarterback. Then they see Tua. Oh, man, change the defense. By then, it's the fourth quarter, man. It's over. You got about 8 minutes. So that's how it's played, Jonathan. You don't let people know what you're doing, man. And so even if he's ready, you say, well, he hasn't cleared protocol, and we don't know if he's ready. He's clear, but we don't even know if he's ready. They know that man is ready. They already know, Jonathan. That's how they play the media, right? That's how they play you, Jonathan.
Listen, at the end of the day, we got to do our job. So, I mean, that's we got to keep bringing that question up. Let's go to social media right here. AC Hardy said, just like when Jay Feely's son, Jace missed that field goal in Colorado game, he benched him, and Deion put his guy in. And then my man Todd, he said, Falcons are run so bad, Mr. Blank wanted Watson. They ran off Matt Ryan. We don't play Ritter last year like you were talking about, Tyrone. And we drafted another running back, and we already had 2 in the system. And last but not least, he said, but Arthur Smith has no guy. It's time for the front office to do something or someone will be on notice. I mean, look. And he said, we gave Ritter a job with no competition this summer. I'm going to say it again. I liked what I saw from Ritter in college. I felt that the guy should have been given a shot last year to try to get into play only because why? Mariota was playing like a high school guy. I mean, he did like crazy stuff. He threw a pass when he was falling on his back. I mean, he was just playing like he almost wanted to be benched. So I'm like, put the guy in. But now that, I see what's going on, Ritter evidently doesn't handle the ball well. Ball security, that's the key, man. You can't be fumbling like this. I mean, the guy's had, 7 turnovers in 3 games?
Well, I go to bat for Ritter. I remember I'm going to go back and you were talking about Joe Montana when they brought Steve Young in. Go back and remember when Steve Young was playing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Everybody like he coming out of Brigham Young, man. This dude's a waste of talent, man. He throwing interceptions. He fumbling the ball. Sometimes, man, you could be in the wrong system. Then he goes to the 49ers, get around. I'm not saying that the Falcons have bad coaches, but I'm just saying sometimes there's a system that fits a quarterback like a hand in glove. So if you go back and look at Steve Young, his career in Tampa Bay, that's why they probably Tampa Bay let him go. And man, this dude ain't gonna be good, because if they know he's gonna be the Hall of Fame quarterback he is now, they would never let him go. So again, sometimes you could be in the wrong system, or you can have too much pressure on you. I don't know what it is, but only Ritter knows that.
Well, and that's my point, and that's why I brought up. It's the first example I brought up, as you remember, or you may not remember, was the whole idea of the Pittsburgh Steelers when they had benched Terry Bradshaw. Terry Bradshaw later came back to have a Hall of Fame career, but he said at the time he wasn't playing well. And I don't want the guy's career to be sabotaged. I don't think the Falcons do either. But right now, you got an opportunity to go to postseason this year, right now. And Tyrone, you got to seize the opportunity what's in front of you. You can't say, well, we're going to try to build for 2025. Who knows what things are going to be going on? Right now, the Falcons have a team that is good enough to be able to go to the playoffs. So I'm like, okay, well, right now, Ritter, whether it be nerves, whether it be bad play calling by Coach Smith, which I think that was a lot of it in the first couple of games, if you're not going to call plays to the guy's strength, then you're going to have to sit the guy down until he understands your system. Or you have to get somebody else in here, one of the two, because there's something wrong. I can't put my finger on it, but there's something wrong between whatever coach is doing and whatever Ritter's picking up, because Ritter just doesn't look comfortable in this offense most of the time. You think about how many false start and delay of game penalties we have as he's looking at the side like, what the what? So all I'm saying is that if he's not going to fit the system to him, if you got a guy that understands your system, you need to play that guy because you got to win games. That's all I'm saying. I mean, like I said, I like Ritter. I think he can be a good quarterback, but right now he's just turning the ball over too much. He can't have that.
Well,
it's not like I understand. Go ahead.
They got a bye week, week 11, and right now this is week 9 coming up, and then they have week 10, and after the bye week, you're gonna see a lot of big changes if the Falcons are to make that run into postseason. After the bye week, they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more games after the bye week. So this is where I still said he's going to give Ritter an opportunity. He's going to start the Minnesota game if he's able, right? And these 2 weeks going to be very important for Ritter. It's going to be very important for the Falcons, because after that bye week, they're going to make a whole lot of decisions, because you got 7 games going into the postseason. They have the Saints. They have the Jets, which the Jets can surprise you as well. Tampa
Good
Bay.
Defense.
So after that bye week, they got 3 divisional conference games after that bye week. The Saints, the Bucks, the Panthers.
Yeah, they have to do something. Like you said again, I think that I would not be surprised if he puts in Heinicke as a starter against Minnesota, and I would not be surprised if he says, well, we still have some concerns about Ritter's health, as not to try to embarrass a young man. I would not be surprised if he would do that. Let's go to social media again. Todd making fun of it. He said, yeah, we talking about Hall of Famers. Yeah, comparing him to Steve Young. Well, because at the end of the day, nobody knew Steve Young. I get Tyrone's point. Nobody knew Steve Young was Steve Young at that time. So it's time for Blank to step in and find a veteran that's familiar with this offense and refresh him on it within the next 2 weeks and let him play and mentor Ritter. # Matt Ryan. And then he said if they continue to lose, then PSL seconds decline. And then Todd saying Ritter's immature, probably when he got pulled. I don't say about that, bro. Nobody gonna be happy if they get pulled in the middle, from a game. I mean,
let me ask you guys a question. All right, let's go to Tennessee. All right, Malik Willis. What's wrong with Malik Willis? Talented guy, right? Is he injured? Why is he not starting?
Well, you did you watch the Tennessee game?
No.
Yeah, the guy that they drafted, now here's the other thing. They have Malik Willis, but they still went ahead and drafted a kid out of Kentucky.
I'm going to make, but go ahead.
Right. And at the end of the day, when they put him in, man, that guy, he lit the Falcons up like they were papering he was a match. And he showed what a lot of people that originally said that he might be a top 5 draft pick. I mean, that guy, he was throwing on rhythm. He has a rocket arm. He was accurate. And especially on that deep ball, he tore the Falcons up. 19 to 29 and 4 touchdown passes. Yeah. 4 as a rookie.
My point I was trying to make is just like Malik Willis. Evidently Malik is struggling to grasp that play.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure they're running pretty much the same offense. They didn't change their offense completely in Tennessee. If they do, they're going to get rid of a whole lot of players. So maybe it's the system. It's the system. But Malik,
And it could be because Malik Willis is he started off pretty good, but he's not. I'm always baffled to why coaches draft players that they suspect may or may not fit their system. I know it's a hard thing to do, but I mean, if you're running RPOs and you got a guy that's primarily drop back quarterback, probably that's not going to work too good. It's not. I mean, anyway, I don't know, man. I don't know what the problem with the Falcons. All I know is right now they have a lot of talented players on this team, and they're a 500 team, and they continue to lose games they should not lose. And unfortunately, as you know, Tyrone, the quarterback is going to get the lion's share of the problem. I mean, lion's share of the blame. And Ritter will tell you, these last 3 weeks, he's not played well. He had a game where he threw 3 interceptions. The next game, he had 3 fumbles, all of them in the red zone. I mean, you can't do it.
Yeah, his biggest game was against the Houston Texans, where he threw 329 yards. Then he came back right after that game, which is always the telltale. You want to know, how did that guy, was it a luck that he threw for 329? Then he came back against the Washington Commanders and he threw for 307. So, I don't know, but I think you got to give him an opportunity. Just like Michael Vick, Michael Vick finally came out at the end and said he just wasn't studying.
Right.
He didn't look at no film. So I don't know. Nobody goes home with Ritter, but I'm pretty sure him being a professional, I would think, he's doing everything he can to prepare himself. And the thing about it, he doesn't have a vet that he can go and sit up under and say, hey, show me this what to do. Because I'll be the first to tell you. It's a difference between having a veteran player tell you how to play the game versus a coach telling you how to play the game. Because the coach is going to tell you, they're going to tell you, okay, now you got to read it like this. And then you got to pause right here. Then you read it like this. But a veteran player going to say, hey, look, throw that stuff away. I'm telling you, when you see this right here, this is what you're going to do right here. I know they're going to get mad, but this is going to be wide open. So that's a difference, man. And I think if Ritter, gets that, right now he's the vet, but he's trying to learn a system. So I can imagine it's a lot of pressure on him. So I will give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, like I say again, I'm not, I'll repeat this again. I'm not trying to see the guy lose his job. All I know is right now, for whatever reason, there's a disconnect. So I'm saying if you got a guy that you think can win you some ball games, then you have to at least let him get a shot. Now, I understand what you're saying. Hey, the veteran guy, if he's not injured, you shouldn't lose your position due to injury. But somehow, some kind of way, between him and the coach, if the coach is going to leave him in there, then he's going to have to make a change so that this young man is comfortable behind that center. It's now because if he picks him, it's clearly all on Arthur Smith now to make sure that this young man, Desmond Ritter, is completely comfortable with his system. Because if he doesn't do that, it's a disservice to Ritter and a disservice to the team.
Now let me even throw this in. Let me just throw some other stats out there, right? So up until this point, the Falcons have played 8 games, right?
Yep.
Now, we talked about the high passing yards that Ritter had. The highest was 329 yards. Second highest was 307 yards. Let's jump over to the running game. What's the highest rushing game they've had so far? 124 yards. And that was Robinson against the Green Bay Packers. Other than that, it's been the next highest was 105 by Robinson again. And then you got a 75 first game against Carolina. And then you got 33 yards, 46 yards, 51 yards. They got to run the ball. Receiving. What's the highest receiving yards? 125, London. He did that against the Washington Commanders. After that, it's like Pitts had 87 against the Texans, and then you got Smith. Jacksonville had 95. I'm like, I think there's a lot of holes that needs to be addressed just by looking at those highs right there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, I mean, we'll go to social media real quickly here. It says Tyrone, the coach's job's on the line. So I think he sits Ritter. That's from our man Todd. H.C. Hardy said exactly. You think the Falcons could have traded for Willis before the deadline for a third-round pick? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think they need another quarterback. I mean, I don't know if Willis is necessarily the answer. Todd said Blank ain't playing. He spent $100 million on defense. Last but not least, H.C. Hardy said they have Schaub as the quarterback analyst, but there has to be a disconnect between the OC Ragon and Ritter. And he said, let Schaub help the guy. I mean, something's wrong. I don't know what it is, but clearly Ritter is not comfortable. And also, you mentioned the pressure, Tyrone. Some of them fumbles, especially that one where he dropped the ball right in the end zone, sometimes you're trying to do too much. And the same thing, speaking of fumble, nobody talks about the fact that Drake London did the same thing, trying to do some kind of somersault reach over the goal line. Hey, man, just you're doing too much. So I don't know what's going on. All I know is right now, man, this team does not look sharp. Coach Archer Smith, I understand you got to play close to the vest, but yeah, there's a problem. Todd said, Tyrone, you make a good point. Play calling is bad. Yes, I like you said, I'm not. At this point, I'm totally baffled to what's wrong with the Falcons, but I'm not baffled about this. We're going to take our final break for the night. You're watching the Real Talk Sports Show. Keep it locked right here. We'll be back with more. Tune in for live high school football Fridays, 7:30 p.m. on RealTalkSports.net. Check out your favorite Metro Atlanta teams as they do battle on the gridiron. It's your high school game of the week, live streaming free Friday nights on RealTalkSports.net. For more sports coverage and great sports talk, catch the Real Talk Sports Show Tuesdays, 8 p.m. on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Twitch. Brought to you by Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, a business giving back to their community. Give them a call at 678-364-3979 or check them out online at AllenVigilFord.net.
This is OJ Howard with Real Talk Sports.
What's up, guys? This is Tim Tebow. You're listening to Real Talk Sports.
This is Charles Woodson. Let me grab the mic. You ready? This is Charles Woodson with Real Talk Sports. Hey, it's your boy JB Smooth with Real Talk Sports. Ha ha.
Here you're watching and listening to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, the Minister Jonathan Simmons. Right next to me, the Hall of Famer, Tyrone Poole. And we got everybody all fired up here as we're talking about these Atlanta Falcons. Speaking of the Falcons, they did make a move, as many people know or may not know. You should know if you follow the Falcons. All-pro defensive tackle Grady Jarrett, stalwart on that front line, is out for the season. So it looks like that Grady Jarrett will be out, and that's going to be a big loss. And the Falcons have decided to try to help out, once again going out with a hometown guy, a gentleman that played for the Kennesaw State Owls, rookie defensive tackle Travis Bell. They have signed him off of the Bears practice squad. Now, Tyrone, here's where I'm having a problem right now with the Falcons. You lose an all-pro in Grady Jarrett, right? And you have the Washington Commanders saying, hey, we're going to get rid of a couple of our studs off our defensive line. Somehow or another, the Falcons could not find a way to get a draft pick to trade to get either Chase Young or Montrez Sweat, which is now we find out the Bears are able to get him from the Washington Commanders. So I don't get it, bro. I mean, I don't get it. And so I guess we have a little freeze frame with time. Well, there he is. Yes, I don't understand how this team could let not one but two stud defensive linemen from the Commanders who were saying we're trying to get rid of them. They get neither one. Instead, all they do is pick up a guy off the practice squad. Am I missing something?
Well, again, just let's understand it's not just an easy trade, a second round pick to get a guy, right? I've been in that situation where I was traded, right? When I went from Carolina to Indianapolis, Bill Polian had left Carolina and did a great job at Carolina. In 2 years, we almost won. Our second year, almost in the Super Bowl. So it's just testament of how good Bill Polian is. He goes to Indianapolis and builds that dynasty there. And he traded for me, and they gave up a second round pick. But then that was just half of the story. The other half of the story, my agent was like, okay, we got to do a whole new deal. So again, it's a whole lot of things that goes into this pot. It's not just hey, give up a second round, a third round pick. No, that player, once he get traded, hey, you know what? I want to get a whole new set of years. I want an extension. And maybe the Falcons looking at their cap and say, you know what? We ain't ready to give an extension. We can't get no extensions. So we would love to do it, but from a money standpoint, we got to think about next year. And then on top of that, so it's a lot of things that, you don't know what they're looking at. You don't know what that roster looks like. They see them guys every day. Maybe they felt like there's a guy that's on, playing backup that we're going to give him opportunity. He got potential. He's just as good as Sweat. He don't have as many miles on his legs as Sweat. So he's the same type of player. So we're going to take our own homegrown. So we got our own homegrown, plus we don't have to worry about trying to get his player an extension.
Clearly, that is the case because they have let two big-time linemen go. Now, to your point, especially in the case of Chase Young, in fact, if you would sign him, you'd have to come up with, you point up to the bar because this is a guy, the former first-round pick. He has been a pretty darn good player for the Commanders, so you might have had to point up to the bar. And Montrez Sweat, not maybe to the same degree, but you might not have been able to sign him afterwards. So I can certainly see and understand what you're saying. But, man, it just – I guess what it is hard, and this is the fan in me coming out. I guess it's hard, man, when you're paying your money and you think that this team is right there and you're like, what are you waiting for to add these pieces? And they just don't seem to do it. And the other thing is it doesn't seem that they use properly the pieces they have in place. So I guess that's the irritation right now. But anyway, yeah, we're going to see what happens. They should be able to meet Minnesota. They got a backup quarterback that's seen very little time. You would think that this would be an opportunity for them to win. They're playing at home, but the Falcons continue to surprise.
I tell you what, you speak of Minnesota, and the Falcons. I'm like, I can't wait for this Eagles and Cowboys game. Sunday.
Oh, yes, that's the game right there.
Big game right there, baby. I'm like, that one right there. And that's the 4:25. So they're gonna be the national game at the 4:00 hour. So November 5th, this Sunday. The Cowboys, all the Cowboy fans, Eagles fans. Oh yeah, man, that's what it's all about. And then also the Bills and the Bengals. The Bengals, they got to get their stride back, man. And then Buffalo, they can't be slipping too much. They got Miami hanging around. So I'm like, it's a couple of good games that, I want to see this Sunday. And even Seattle and the Ravens, So, but definitely the Cowboys and the Eagles, man. Definitely can't wait to see that game. That's going to be a good one there.
We talk about the Bengals. Clearly, this team is on the bounce back tour. They have won their last 3 games. They knocked off the Cardinals, not a good team, 34-20. Came right back the week later and knocked off the Seahawks. And then probably the biggest one, shocked up the world as they crushed the 49ers 31-17. Joe Burrows is starting to look more like Joe Burrows again. He's clearly recovering from his injury, moving around much better. So, yeah, man, the Bengals, yeah, like Joe says, hey, man, don't worry, we'll be good. As far as the Cowboys, man, what do you think about Dak Prescott? Is he a guy that can really take them to a Super Bowl?
Man,
What do you think about
I
them?
don't know. I'm like, number one, he is the starting quarterback, so you don't get that starting position if you can't do the job. I just think Dak just got to get over that hump, man. You remember that scene in Super Bowl? What was it? When Steve Young, Super Bowl 29 or something, they playing.
Take the monkey off my back.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what has to happen to Dak. Whatever that monkey is that's on his back, he got to get over that hump, man, and that monkey will come off his back. But right now, man, I'm like, I don't know. It's like, is it Troy Aikman? Is that monkey on his back? Like until he get the Cowboys to the Super Bowl, which that's what quarterbacks are judged by how many Super Bowl Lombardi trophies they win. It ain't how many passing yards you get. It's how many trophies you are putting into that address where that home facility is. So until Dak get them Cowboys into the Super Bowl, man, I think people gonna always say he's the bride, what the bride made, but never the bride. So, but and Jerry Jones, he ain't gonna take too much of it. So I think Dak, he gotta. This is an important season for him.
Yeah, and like the Falcons, they wasted the window. Speaking of the Falcons, the year the Falcons went to the Super Bowl, if you remember, Green Bay was not supposed to beat Dallas that year. Went down to Dallas, and Rodgers did Rodgers things and ended up upsetting the Cowboys because here's what happened: had they lost that game, and everybody thought the Falcons would have had to go to Dallas to try to win, and that would have been a tough out, I think. So. And that's when they had Zeke at his prime. That was a team that really should have won. I think they were 13-3 that year, had the number one seed overall in the NFC. So I don't know if the window has closed on the Cowboys, but certainly, like you mentioned, Dak is under a lot of pressure. And also, I don't say under pressure, but certainly coming off of a Super Bowl appearance and being considered one of the top quarterbacks, and he still is in the NFC, a little bumpy start for Jalen Hurts. Like you said, the guy's got 8 picks. So definitely it's going to be a big game for both teams. All right, guys, speaking of big-time stuff going on, you know how we do it. We don't get off this broadcast until we let you know what is going on. So we're getting down to the final 2 minutes. So, Tyrone, final comments or anything you'd like to tell us before we shift into the floor being yours, sir?
Nothing much, man. I was going to ask you the question about my question in an explanation of what's going on. One last question about football.
Yeah, come on. We got 2 minutes.
Justin Fields up in Chicago, man. What are you buying or selling Justin Fields?
Again, it goes back to the same thing we've been talking about all night. I mean, I can't understand why people and coaches will pick players or teams will let players come to a team where the coach has no idea how to use the player skill sets. And in the case of Justin Fields, you just got too much going on. This guy, the RPO is now somewhat acceptable in the NFL. This guy ran the RPO about as good as he gets at Ohio State. He's got a big-time arm. He can run the ball. He's fast. He's strong. So I'm thinking run the RPO. Run the ball. That's another thing the Bears do. Just run the ball. And stop trying to go with all these kind of crazy, complicated offenses. Let this guy run the RPO. Get him. They have a halfway decent running back. Get him some receivers that can catch the ball and turn the guy loose. Yes, I still think he can be an outstanding player in the NFL. I just think he's in a system that doesn't want to attempt to maximize his skill sets.
Gotcha. Well, hey, that's the news. That's what I got going on. Back to you, Jonathan.
All right, let's go to social media one more time. If the Falcons don't have a good season, they already have their GM in place, assistant GM Kyle Smith, who was promoted to the position last July, and he's the son of former Chargers GM A.J. Smith from 2003 to 2012. Look here, man, we're not trying to fire a bunch of people. All we want to do is see the team win, okay? Well, anyway, guys, you know how we do it. Anytime we do this show, we want to make sure that you know all about our guest and co-host. So, Mr. Tyrone Poole, the floor is yours.
Very simple. There you go. Bam. Be like John Madden. Boom!
Yes, sir.
Tyrone Poole 38, all social media. Boom!
It's Glenn Root.
There
The
you go.
message master with more tips.
That's it.
There you go. The message master, Tyrone Poole, the man that always got a good word to say. Thank you, Tyrone.
Hey, thanks, John.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up right here. We appreciate all those of you who have watched us here on the broadcast. Remember, we're always looking for good sports stories. We're also looking for interns. So hit me up on the cell, 678-410-9833, or shoot me an email, jsimmons@realtalksports.net. As I tell you each and every week, I'm a real life preacher. So I'm not going to let you go until I ask you this question. Do you know the Lord Jesus Christ, your personal Savior? If you don't, I'm going to tell you, please, man, please, sir, get to know him today. Nobody loves you like Jesus. He's the one that came here fully man and fully God and died for your sins. But more importantly, he rose from the dead. And so here's the good news about that. If you repent of your sins and believe that, two great things happen. Number one, you become a citizen of the kingdom of heaven. And number two, you become an adopted child of God with all the rights therein. That means you now can go to God like a heavenly parent, ask him for anything you need or desire, and according to his will, he'll give it to you. And when you die, you go to that beautiful place called heaven where there's none of the following: no pandemic, no pain, no bad people anywhere. You never get old, you never die. Heaven is the most beautiful place ever created. Streets are paved with a gold that's so pure it's translucent. And you avoid that nasty place called hell, where all the things I mentioned that are in heaven won't be in hell. Bad people everywhere. It stinks, it's dark, it's dreary, it's painful. But most of all, you cut off from God, Jesus Christ, and all the people of love forever and a day. I don't know about you, but I like option number one instead of option number two. All right, guys, until the next time we get back together again, you know I like to do it. As I tell you, God bless you and have a wonderful rest of your day or evening, whichever may apply. So long, and God bless.